Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Shoe Podcast, the only sneaker podcast. I got a haircut that's just like a little bit too short. Like I wish they hadn't done it so much, but they did. I'm your co-host, Ryan Landry.
Hey, I'm your co-host, Tanner Young.
Happens. It just happens sometimes, you know.
It's unfortunate.
I go to a barbershop where you don't make an appointment. You just do walk-ins. And so it's a bit of the roll of the dice with who you get. And that's just the price you pay.
Yeah, you gotta leave that. Go to a salon, man. Get you.
I feel like I probably should. My issue is that I never realize I need a haircut until I need a haircut. Right? Like the day gets there, and it's one of those things where it's like, how did this happen? Like, how did we get here? Like I haven't been looking at myself in a mirror for a week, you know. But
that's why where I go, I just got a standing every 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Boom. Day before, get a text. Hey.
Yeah. I should be smart enough.
Automated.
Like it could very well be on a schedule, but it's one of those things that I feel like I don't think about until it's here. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get this taken care of. So.
Yeah, that's kind of how my son's hair is.
Okay.
I looked at it today and I was like, I should really, that taken care of.
If I had to equate it to something, I would say, yeah, my level of planning is probably about that of a 3-year-old. So yeah, I would say that tracks that me and your son are on that same path.
You are doing a little bit better because he doesn't care.
He doesn't know. Yeah.
He's not thinking about it. And also I'm like, you're 3. So I'm on.
Could you maybe just start setting up appointments for me and your son to go at the same time? That way, like it would be taken care of and I would know. Perfect.
Boom. Just send you a little text.
Problem solved. Hey, you got an hour commute this weekend, buddy. Head on over to Lafayette.
It's going to be a tough one. Great to see you, but
do you want the booster chair as well? Because he's going to have the booster chair.
Yeah. You do get a lollipop after.
That's a pretty sweet perk. That's a pretty nice perk.
And you do get to pick what TV show you want to watch while it's happening.
I don't get to pick at my barbershop. Okay.
Well,
that settles that. Boom. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into another episode of Shoe Podcast. For those of you that might be new here, please consider hitting that little subscribe button down below, the follow button wherever you're listening. If you're not watching it, you could be over on YouTube at youtube.com/@shoepodcast or on Spotify. The video's there as well. Really just Apple Podcasts at this point that, you know, if you're so in that ecosystem that you're tied to it, sorry. I mean, you can still listen to us. Tim Cook dropped the video already. We know you have it. Video iPod, it's already been a thing. But we are back tonight to talk about Olympic themed shoes, and I would say back by popular demand, though no one demanded it, but it does statistically perform well for us. Do another tier list. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be ranking 10 of the most notable, 8 of the most notable Olympic themed sneakers, and then 2 of the new silhouettes for this year, which are, you know, I think worth talking about. I just wouldn't go as far to say notable yet, right? Because it's happening now. But this episode should be dropping, listeners, this should be, hold us accountable in the comments, should be Friday, July 26th when you're listening to this, first day of the Paris Olympics, I believe. So very timely that we're doing this here.
Wow. Eagle screeches, fireworks, hot dogs.
Yeah. And
just got to feed the algorithm.
Where if you just say it enough, the captions will automatically pick up on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're lucky enough to be joined tonight by someone who's on the record as hating Paris. So I think last we discussed the Olympics. So how are you feeling going into this episode, looking at the footwear here?
You know, again, just ready to look at some of the solid stuff, you know, that we put together. All I'm saying is I don't know of any other country that has a dream team. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then also like their dream team gets destroyed by us in something else. Shout out to hockey. Also Olympic. We just breed athletes. I mean, that's just what we do.
Was the now this is a great time for anyone who's new here to get reintroduced to the fact that you are the sports one. Yeah. I'm not the sports one.
Sure.
So you're going to be handling a little bit of the history behind these shoes, where available. But also that was my time to ask you, the Miracle on Ice, was that during the Olympics or was that outside of the Olympics?
I have no idea. I don't watch hockey.
Not a great start.
Not American enough.
Listener, hang in there. We're gonna pick it up.
Here's the thing: we're taking it over. The moment feels big enough, like it should be Olympic sized.
Yeah.
So
we're rewriting history tonight. Yeah. That was definitely during the Olympics.
I mean, I've never felt more like an Olympian than hearing the Miracle on Ice. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Flying V formation.
Quack, 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 quack. The same team, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They just grew up.
Yeah.
Just
just
no, it's all the kids. That's how we won.
It's two kids in a trench coat on ice.
Yeah, just shifty. You ever tried to check someone forfeit? You fly right over them.
They're so nimble. They're so agile. They get right under you there.
Yeah. And their bones aren't like completely solidified.
Okay.
Let's bounce right back.
Let's get into our episode here. So this should be, all things willing, our tier list. So as we said, we're going to talk about 8 of the most notable past Olympic themed sneakers, 2 that are releasing this year for the first time, starting off with the Nike SB PS8 in the Safari colorway. And the PS8 standing for Problem Solver 8. I don't know if this came up in your research. I believe the Instagram handle for Sandy Bodecker, correct?
Oh, interesting.
Did you get something else?
No, as to why it was, no.
I believe, what can you stall for a bit so that our listeners are not aware that I'm Googling it? By you stalling, they will not realize that I'm doing this right now.
That you're doing it? Yeah.
It's a seamless transition.
Just a quick to Sandy, you know what I mean?
The real one.
So unsure of the, and then really, were there 7 more?
No.
Or was he just like, this shoe so good, it's gonna 8?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm back with you now. The shoes derive their name from Bodecker's Instagram handle, Problem Solver 8. So I don't know where his Instagram handle comes from, but that is where the name of the shoe comes from.
All right.
I thought at some point this shoe got announced forever ago, right? Like a lot of these new silhouettes do, where like they're announced 6 months and then you finally see them. I thought at the time when they were introducing it, they were talking about how maybe the shoe solved like 8 common problems in skate shoes, or had like 8 new technologies in it. And so it kind of all tied together. In the moment, I do not have that information available at my fingertips. Listeners, stay in there. It'll, this episode will get there. We'll find our footing.
Yeah. I do know that, like, looking into the shoe, like, it was that try to, I guess, in a sense, like, problem solve, like, have everything for everyone. It being not only like a performance shoe, like in the sense of skateboarding, but also fit that sneaker kind of style. So it is. Now, is this a part of a pack or no?
There is a bit of a pack around it. I know there's there's at least a blazer.
There's a blazer, a Janoski, and a Dunk Low.
But they are Dunk Low I hadn't heard about. That'll probably go kind of crazy. But I think also Nike's bringing back the original Air Safari this year is getting retroed. So they're leaning in real heavy to the Safari theme this year, which is kind of cool to see. I think the Air Safari, inspired the Nike Atmos Air Max 1 Safari, the original one that had like, oddly enough, kind of like this shade of orangish yellowish on the toe and the Safari print. So that'll be cool to see that get brought back. So I like the theming that they're going with for this one with the Safari theme. I think that's a nice retro bring back. And then those little pop of blue laces on it, kind of nice accent there.
It looks really good. I think it is a pack of 4. I think it is this one, the Janoskis. There's like a mid blazer and a Dunk Low. I like these the best within the pack. Very interesting. They look very comfortable.
They do,
have to say.
Yeah. So
do have to say. So very cool. I'm not not getting much of a Paris theme for this one, but it makes sense in the sense of like, hey, we're gonna try to bring back the Safari.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
So on that note, where do they go on the tier list? What are your thoughts here?
Okay, so this one's tough because there is no like impact moment, kind of how you had said like at the top of the episode. So this one's going to be tough because I do feel like there's some that will be ranked above it because of the impact moment and the hype that's around it. Yeah. That being said, it's a great looking shoe.
It is indeed.
It's also tough. I know, obviously, we go at the end of the episode and we have a chance.
We're allowed to reshuffle the deck, yeah.
So I think for the first one, I kind of want to go B tier.
Right, same page, page. Nike SB B tier.
Oh,
Bodecker, B.
Boom. Wow.
I think a better than average shoe, but at this point we don't have anything remarkable to say about it yet. So I'm there with you.
Okay. I like it.
Keeping it moving here. Next one, the other new silhouette that we're getting for this year, the Nike Jam done with Futura, the Olympics here. The Olympics is, I think, the name of the colorway here. But this is being done, correct me if I'm wrong, first year that breakdancing is part of the Olympics. Yeah. What is that criteria like, huh?
So funny enough, that's exactly what I was thinking with this shoe. I'm like, so very cool. Obviously, you have a silhouette that was made for breakdancing. And then so obviously you would bring it back with breakdancing being in the Olympics for the first time coming up. That was my first thought is, how do you judge breakdancing?
Yeah, I don't know.
I know that there's a thing because I know like dance battles is a thing.
And like gymnastics is part of the Olympics. And so like gymnastics doesn't have quantitative points, I think, like basketball does. So I don't know if figure skating, like I'm guessing whatever criteria they have for judging those, there's probably similar criteria for breakdancing.
I guess there's certain moves that you'll do. Same thing with like gymnastics and figure skating. And it's like, how cleanly
executed
do you execute it? Performance, landing it, like finishing, all of those things I'm assuming will come into play. And I guess it is tough because neither of us have experience. Well, I'll speak just for myself. I don't have any experience.
How dare you speak for me?
Yeah. With anything that I think does have that more intrinsic, like almost like feels like you're scoring off of passion, which I know that's not the case. I know that there's a very strict regimen, but because we don't have that experience, I see the breakdancing. I'm like, sorry, yes.
You don't have that experience.
I don't
Listeners, you don't know, I put aside a wealthy career, 8 years on the Jabberwockies to do this podcast. And
Juilliard
I left it all behind. Juilliard trained Jabberwocky.
So I don't know. I want it to just be straight passion, and the judges, they just like hold their heart for X amount of seconds and that's their score.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's an excellent criteria. Yeah. Oh, and they do the breathing thing. Do you think the robot gets you any points in 2024 breakdancing?
It's retro enough. I think so. I think if
bring it back.
Hey, for any breakdancing Olympians out there.
And we know y'all are listening, right? We know y'all are watching.
Hit a sick, quick little.
Can you hit the comments real quick and let us know?
And then your buddy comes, hits the oil can. That looks like I was shooting my arm.
The defibrillator move. All that being said, we've talked about this silhouette before in like one of our monthly look ahead episodes that we did. I'm still a big fan of this silhouette. I really like the way that it looks. Something about that shape it's got. I think because Nike SB also recently introduced that new silhouette called the Vertebrae. If you remember, we've talked about that one before. Kind of similar, slim, low profile with like exoskeleton-y sort of shape on the outside of it.
Yes.
Big fan of it. Go ahead.
You continue.
I was just going to say Futura, I could take it or leave it. You know, I know he's having a hot year this year with Nike SB.
There you go.
But the upside down swoosh on the midsole, so that when you're braking, if your foot's upside down, you still get the swoosh right side up.
You always get the swoosh.
A cute touch indeed.
That is cute. Like I was gonna say, it's interesting for the collab.
Yeah.
Considering like he has a big, I guess, like background in graffiti.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, I don't see any of that with this shoe.
The insoles are kind of getting that same abstract canvasy feel that we got on the SB Dunks that he just did, you know, on the upper to the, but yeah, not straight like graffiti tags. You're right.
So, and that I do see that like that trend line. So that makes sense of like, that is maybe just the evolution of his style. So it is nice that you do get it kind of on like that sock liner, like as a little pop. I don't know. I guess I do understand like going through the list, and as you can see, the Olympic shoes are primarily white. So it makes sense to hold into that tradition. But I was kind of hoping for something a little bit more, especially since it's a breakdancing shoe.
Yeah.
And it just seems a little
bit more with it.
Plain. Yeah, it just seems a little
Well,
plain for something that's like breakdancing. And
do you think with Olympics in breakdancing, you're doing uniforms, and so white might go with more uniforms?
maybe
This whole
that would make
episode really like a
sense.
reveal into how little we know about breakdancing as an Olympic sport. I know our listeners are shocked right now that we're not the leading subject matter experts on this. Yeah, but
yeah, and that would make sense if there is, each country does have a uniform, even like no matter what, which would make sense. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was interesting that Futura did just this one, but I don't think anything on the PS8, because I was kind of thinking, I don't know if you remember 3 years ago, 2021 Olympics, Para did the Nike SB Dunks that had kind of like his signature color palette on the uppers. And Para did like the whole, all the team jerseys that year for Nike SB.
I do remember the jerseys.
Yeah. So I thought maybe Futura was going to be like the collaborator this year. I was like, that's a cool trend for them to do every year for the Olympics. Like the Olympic wear is done in collaboration with someone. And so correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I haven't seen Futura tied with anything else on the Olympics other than this shoe. So I don't know. Just thought it peculiar.
Yeah, only saw this.
Okay. All that being said, and knowing we still got another 8 shoes ahead of us, let's get to it.
Yeah.
You got any thoughts on where you want to put these on the tier list? I think we're in different spots on this one.
I'm feeling C.
Yeah. My issue is that I was feeling A, but I think it's just because, like, I just really dig this silhouette. I just think it's a really cool silhouette. So if anything, I would want to put them B tier, but ahead of the PS8, but you would probably compromise B tier behind the PS8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. C tier just feels low.
I mean, it's just a white shoe.
But I like the design of it, and it's a new silhouette. So is the PS8. I get it.
Yeah.
Tough one here.
Yeah.
This behind just the PS8 like, and B tier?
I could maybe do that.
Begrudgingly. We'll see. I might have to make concessions later, or we could revisit at the end of the episode here.
Yeah. I'm not super stoked with that move, but it's the move we got.
But I'm controlling the tier list on my end here, so I'm not calling it a dictatorship, but
my mouse isn't doing anything.
All right. So next up on the list, now getting into like the actual bit of history of the Olympics here. The Nike Air Swoopes, the USA colorway, first debuted 1996 Olympics. Cheryl Swoopes. What can you tell our listeners about this one? What do you got?
Lot of firsts.
Okay.
I will say that for this shoe for Miss Cheryl. Okay. First off, Cheryl Swoopes, first athlete signed by the WNBA. So
wow. Okay.
Off rip, very cool. Okay.
I didn't know that.
Crazy enough. Okay. Shoe comes out before the actual WNBA season. So she competes in the 96.
How do you know it's good?
Olympics.
I don't know yet. Yeah.
Wearing her custom shoe before the WNBA even starts, because the WNBA didn't start until 1997.
Oh, so interesting. Okay.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I was like, that is a crazy. I literally have like first WNBA signing.
Yeah.
First, in the 96, and then first WNBA season was 97. So I was like, what an interesting timeline. That is, I believe she is still considered the greatest athlete in the WNBA.
Oh, okay.
So I think that is very cool that her legacy. And a very cool thing about this shoe is at the bottom, you can kind of see it somewhat looks like an S.
Okay, I see the squiggle.
And so they thought that was, while they were designing the shoe, very cool because, when she's up in the air, it is her initials of Cheryl Swoop.
Oh, very nice.
So on the bottom, she has her initials somewhat on the bottom of the shoe. So I thought that was a very cool design aspect. Apparently, the designer and Cheryl Swoop spent a ton of time preparing this shoe. And I think just because of how big of a moment it is, the WNBA, officially starting off, women in the Olympic sports playing basketball. So very, very big shoe right here. And you can see on the tongue kind of that S a little bit more clearly.
Okay.
You'll see kind of her signature on that.
And I think you said it kind of in a roundabout way, but just to hammer it home, the first ever women's signature basketball shoe, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And of a limited also, there has not been many women signature shoes. I think there has been some since, but not.
Well, and definitely in more recent years, like especially with like how popular the WNBA has been getting in like the last like 3 years. Yeah.
Yes.
But
so unfortunately, these didn't really sell like hotcakes.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say. I know they did a second edition of this one, the Swoopes 2, and that one I think has had a retro in recent years. But the Swoopes 1, the original, I don't know if it's ever been retroed. So interesting. It was tough to find the limited pictures that I was able to on this one.
Very, yes.
So
a lot of the articles basically just contributed of the male dominated market, and typically you're going to buy the shoes that you're watching, which most dudes are watching men's basketball, therefore they're going to buy men's basketball shoes. But hopefully we see it seems like we're seeing with this season a huge kind of boom with the WNBA, so maybe that continues and we'll see a nice little spike, and maybe the Cheryl Swoop 1,
bring it back. Bring it back, Nike.
Retroed.
That's right. We want it.
Yes.
Okay.
Very interesting shoe.
All that being said, there's obviously a lot of significance behind this one, and I really am not mad at the design of it. I kind of like the style of it. The colorway, it could use a little refresh. It could use a little revamp, but for the Olympics, I get it. And I think the little, like you said, like on the heels and on the tongues, hiding the little S there so that you see like Cheryl Swoopes when she's up in the air. Cool little touch. Cool little accent.
Very cool. Very cool touch.
Anywhere you're leaning towards putting these on the list?
See, this is tough. We're going to get into real difficult territory with the list.
Yeah.
Because, again, kind of like I said, there are a lot of those Olympic shoes that are kind of just a primarily white shoe with hints of red and blue, which, again, makes sense. It's Team USA. That's kind of the colorway that you're going to see.
Yeah.
So, do we get into ranking the style of the shoe, the silhouette of the shoe, or the history of the shoe? Because to me, if you're saying history of a shoe,
it's up there.
I do think it's crazy, but I almost say S tier.
Yeah.
Just based on the significance and importance that this shoe held for women's basketball.
Yeah.
If you go design of the shoe, I kind of go like C tier.
Yeah, I mean, like,
tier.
I think it's cool. Like, as of today, I would rather wear the PS8 or the Jam, but that's also because, like, it just looks like such a, like, performance basketball shoe,
For sure.
But I definitely like the design of it more than some of the other stuff on this list. It is tough because, like you said, like, in my head, I was going between A tier and C tier, right? Like, I think it's either, like, very important because of its significance, or like it's just okay because of its design.
Exactly.
I don't know if that ends up putting it in B tier. We're getting a crowded B tier here, but
we are getting a real crowded B tier. This is tough. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
this is real tough. I'm going to put the ball in your court. I'm saying either A or C. I don't think it's a B. I think it is either A or
one or the
C.
other. I think for now, we put it in A because it's tough,
I like that.
Right? Because we already said it at the top of the episode. Not every shoe is going to have a ton of history, especially these new ones are not. So it's not a perfect scale. It's not a perfect system, but damn it, it's our scale and it's our system and it's our show. So the show goes on here.
I like it. I like that. I think that's a good one. I think that's a good placement.
All right. Moving on, the Nike Air Force 180 Low. This one worn by Charles Barkley, 1992 here. You got any fun facts? Any tidbits?
Unfortunately, I guess actually, yes. Turns out in the 92 Olympics, Charles Barkley was the leading scorer on that team.
I so thought you were about to say in the 1992 Olympics, Charles Barkley wore these shoes. I thought you were about to just like
no,
repeat it
I
in a
thought
different way. Leading scorer,
very interesting.
huh?
Because this is the dream team.
Jordan,
like when we were talking 92. Yeah, baby. No, throughout the series.
Wow.
So throughout the entire Olympics, apparently Charles Barkley was leading scorer with a 20-point average.
And Barkley's nickname was?
Biscuit.
Do you want to look it up? Because I'm pretty sure. All right. I'll just put it on the air. We'll just record it now. I think, isn't Charles Barkley called the round mound of rebound? Someone correct me if I'm wrong here. Instead of Charles Barkley's nickname, search round mound of rebound and see if that gets us back to him. This is going to be a great bit in the episode either way.
Mound of rebound?
The round mound of rebound. Like a mound.
Okay. It did autocorrect me to round mound.
And Charles
Barkley does come up.
All right, that's close enough for me to take it.
Apparently, yeah.
Wow.
He earned the nickname
the round mound
of rebound and the Crisco Kid. So we were kind of hurtful in the 90s.
I had a 50-50 shot, right? Like I had a 50-50 shot of getting his nickname, the Crisco Kid. My gosh. I think the most interesting thing about these shoes, getting away from that nickname as quickly as we can, is that, right, these are called the Air Force 180 lows. I don't know about you.
Yes.
These do
that
not,
looks pretty
by
up.
today's standards, these do not look very low. These look like mid at the lowest, but really these are high tops. Yeah.
Yeah. These are pretty up there. I do remember looking looking into the shoe that they had Charles Barkley in mind for this shoe.
Okay.
So this wasn't he just so happened to wear it.
Yeah.
They very much were like, we want something that is very that fit Charles Barkley and his play style. So they had when they were designing this shoe with what they wanted, Charles Barkley kind of fit with them. So something that is extremely durable, that can take a lot of wear and tear. So when they were designing this shoe to be very, very durable, they thought of Charles Barkley. So from the get-go, he was attached to the shoe, which I thought was very very interesting.
Okay. So I think design-wise, I really dig this shoe. But
me too.
I'm such a sucker for you put the strap over the top of the shoe, right? It's easy cheat code for me.
Well, I love the gold, the gold.
I was just going to say, the red, white, and blue, fade. But they throw some gold in there as well. This one comes together nicely. So
I think it looks great.
Where do we want to put it then?
Oh man, this is tough because I agree. I do like the PS8 and the Jams, but these look like they'd be so fun to wear.
They do. Yeah, they do. Kind of the retro stomper feel.
I'm kind of feeling A tier.
I'm feeling A tier as well. Let's put them up there. Let's put them up there for Charles.
Okay. Sir Barkley, the Crisco Kid.
You got to stop calling him that. I don't want him coming after us.
I was about to say, I was like, Charles, let us know. Did that hurt your feelings?
You don't want the Charles Barkley smoke. I'll tell you right now.
This is a safe space. It's
You're welcome in our comments, Charles.
Yeah.
Charlie, if I may.
Charlie, thank you for calling him personable.
All right. Next shoe up that we've got here, the Nike Shox BB4, worn in the 2000 Olympics by Vince Carter, who I know less about than Sean Carter. So I hope you've got something for us here.
Yes. Yes. So funny enough, Vince, but also the Raptor on the Toronto Raptors also famously wore this sneaker.
Okay.
So I think that was great. I would say, and I think probably a lot of people would agree, Vince Carter had one of the greatest dunks in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Wearing this shoe.
Okay.
I think he dunked over a dude who was 6'7", 7'2" or something like that.
That's not an unimpressive dunk, I'll tell you right now.
And over them. So Vince Carter was fantastic. And I think, if I can remember correctly, they wanted Vince Carter to do, I think he like won the dunk contest.
Okay.
And then get signed by Nike following that.
Oh,
and then
okay.
This shoe was like, hey, we want you to wear this shoe.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. Good history.
So I thought that was really cool.
Man, Shox.
I got a lot of facts on this shoe. Honestly.
Shox, what an error. You want to go for a minute here?
Yeah. Hey, if you want facts, I got some facts right here. Crazy enough, how long do you think so this shoe came out in 2000. How long do you think they were cooking on this shoe? How long do you think they were working on this shoe?
How long until they retired it?
No. Like from
concept development.
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume Shox takes a while to develop, and I've been a little bit colored here because you make it sound like it's an impressive amount.
Yeah.
10 seems a little too far. 5 seems like it might not hit the impressive. 7, I'll split it.
Gotcha. They started thinking about the shoe in 1984.
Wow.
10
would not have been far enough. Okay.
They patented this shoe in 1984. Ryan, it's a crazy when you look it up. It looks like a runner, like a trainer.
Yeah.
Which is honestly the shoe that in the picture, I was like, well, that's Ryan's favorite shoe. I was like, that's a shoe Ryan would be.
Bring it back.
And it's got, I'm not kidding, metal shocks.
Yeah.
Like a
car shocks.
It's insane. Like front, back. It was crazy. Original patent 1984.
Wow.
For this shoe didn't actually come to life until the year 2000. So very, very cool.
How on earth in the same year do you give Michael Jordan his first signature silhouette, the Jordan 1, which at the time, like comparatively good tech and like good enough wear, and like, but also I could see a world in which you have car shocks on your feet, and Michael Jordan's like, am I getting that? They're like, no, leather upper, full leather upper.
Yeah. Also, okay, another question for you, Ryan, and the audience at home.
And for the listener, okay.
What mode of transportation, when you look at this shoe, do you think of?
You think cars. You got to think vehicles. The Shox.
Wow. I'll be honest.
Couldn't be more wrong.
Spaceships.
It was inspired by.
Spaceships. So the Shox are supposed to very much resemble like the boosters.
Okay.
That they come off of. Now it's hard to tell on this colorway.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a colorway where you see where like that blue paneling is.
Yeah.
That is supposed there's a silhouette that's more like silver, and that is supposed to be kind of like the shell of the U.S. space shuttle.
Oh, okay.
So, the designer had the spaceship in mind.
Interesting.
When designing this shoe, which I do not see it, but obviously you didn't, and I'm sure if we read the comments, hopefully it's flooded with people guessing modes of transportation. I highly doubt anybody selected a rocket ship.
But here's the thing: are you sure it's the BB4, like this specific silhouette, or they just started working on Shox in 1984? You're saying, like Shox technology?
Yes. So I guess yeah.
But regardless, at the time, I could see like this. Yeah, doesn't like look like UFO when you think about it. But I could see how in 84, if you're thinking futuristic, car shock absorbers, you'd be like, that seems like pretty futuristic tech, Yeah. Wild.
Very crazy.
Well, I think that's enough fun facts to know where we putting this on the list.
Plenty fun facts.
Yeah.
Plenty fun fact. Here's the thing. This one's kind of, I'm not a huge fan of it.
I don't want to say not my Shox, but this is not my Shox that I grew up with,
These are not my Shox I grew up with.
That being said, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen.
No. But you know what? Hey, someone had to walk before we could run.
Vince Carter had to dunk so that we could rank.
Exactly. And sorry, Vince. Sorry, Toronto. I am kind of feeling D tier on this bad boy. And I can even see lower.
Dents Darter right here. D tier.
Okay.
Sorry, Dents.
Yeah. Donced.
Dents got donked.
Dents got donced.
Coming up next, the Nike Air More Uptempo from 1996, worn by Scottie Pippen, not just in the Olympics, but like Scottie Pippen, big Air More Uptempo fan, retroing this year, I believe. So if you really love these, you can get a pair.
Yeah, you left out also a very noticeable icon who also donned the Uptempos.
Yep, that's right. Brendan Fraser, George of the Jungle.
Yeah.
my brain recalled George of the Jungle before it recalled what was that actor's name? Yeah, that was the struggle for me. Not what movie. I was like, oh yeah, George of the Jungle, obviously, but who is the actor? Brendan Fraser. Yeah.
I mean, boy, we should another ranking idea within the ranking episode is like almost like iconic like TV things, because like you think of that and like the iconic scene of Forrest Gump.
Oh yeah, that'd be a great one. I thought you were going to say best sneakers worn in George of the Jungle. I was like, that'd be a pretty short episode.
It's just one tier.
Yeah, it's just all right. Thanks, everyone. Yeah. So,
quick one.
When you talk about cultural significance, sure, Scottie Pippen, but also Brendan Fraser and George of the Jungle is going to be weighted here. Now, from the 8 on the back of the shoes, am I to assume that Scottie Pippen was number 8?
I want to say yes.
On the team, the year he wore these?
Yeah.
You got to assume so. Yeah.
I only know 9 and 10.
Okay. Which are?
Jordan was 9.
Yeah.
And Kobe wore 10.
Okay. Gotcha.
Unfortunately, there are so many other athletes that have done it. Yeah. Just off of the top of my head, I'm like, I know Kobe wore 10 in the Olympics.
That's fine. I think they did something this year for the athletes that are on the men's basketball team with like whatever team number they got assigned. They got a list of like all the athletes who had worn that number prior.
Yeah, it was like a hang tag that was on the jersey.
It's a cool little moment.
I think it's a great just like
continuing the legacy, you know, like really frames like where you are, you know,
and all the athletes that have worn it. Like I feel like nothing would get me more fired up. Not like the cream of the crop of like men's basketball needs anything, but to sit there and be like, hey, this is not just a number. This is the legacy that is this number. So I thought that was a great idea that they had done. I really hope every year they just continue to add names. So that'd be nice. So fun. Or 4.
That being said, Air More Uptempos, where do they go on the tier list?
This one is really tough.
Yeah.
Because cool moment in the Olympics, but this shoe is very iconic.
Yeah. But I think also, I don't know if I can speak for you, but I think I can speak for you that we are not big Air More Uptempo fans.
No, but this is one of the shoes, like, it is so recognizable. Yeah. And like has like a big, like iconic status.
Okay. I'll give you that.
So that's what I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I could see this going high.
Yeah.
Because of like that outside of the iconic, outside of Olympics and outside of sports.
Brendan
Fraser.
Yeah.
But also tough because I'm like, I don't really want to wear a shoe that just has air and giant bubble letters on it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you tell me where you want it, and I'll either agree or fight you.
On aesthetics alone, I'd want to go D tier right next to the Shox, but that's just because I'm not an Air More Uptempo guy. Factoring in the history of it, I think C tier is a healthy compromise of like, sure, there's cultural and historic significance to it. But just like on my tier list or our tier list of like also factoring a little bit like how much we'd want to wear it or how cool we think it is, C tier feels like the appropriate of like, I'll put respect on it because it deserves respect on it, but I'm not going to praise it because it's not something I would be excited about.
Yeah. I think we're going to ruffle feathers with this one, but I think C tier is probably...
Let us know in the comments
where it goes, but I think some feathers have been ruffled.
Let us know in the comments. Oh no, they're engaging with us. And
here's the thing, I only like my chips to be ruffled. So.
Not my feathers, please.
Not my feathers.
All right. Coming up next, we got Michael Johnson's Gold Spikes. Not Michael Jordan, Michael Johnson.
Johnson.
Born in 1996, Michael Johnson, I believe, set records in the 200 and 400 meter. That's the brief notes that I have here.
Yes.
What more do you have for us, though?
So, interesting fact about the shoe. Originally, coming up, Nike was like, hey, we want you to wear our shoe. And we want it to be like a very iconic moment. They brought the original shoe, which was like all silver.
Yeah.
And shoe is done. Like they're not like, this isn't like we want your input. This is, hey, here's the shoe we want you to wear.
Yeah.
Mind you, this is like months before the Olympics. Michael Johnson says, no, I'm not competing for silver. I'm competing for gold.
Right. Like as soon as I hadn't heard that story, but as soon as you just said that, I'm like, yeah, what? I don't want silver shoes. Like I don't want bronze shoes. I want gold shoes.
Now, I don't know if this was because it's the year 96 and like maybe at this point I'm 5. So my cultural relevant, like understanding is very limited, but we do know that the year 2000 is coming up, Y2K. Everything was very like, are we getting into that like hyper futuristic where everything has got to be chrome? Because it wasn't like silver. It was this same material, but silver. So it was very chrome.
Okay.
So like maybe that was their mindset, not necessarily silver metal, but more like that's just where style is heading.
Yeah.
So yeah, Michael Johnson says, no.
Gold.
Nike. I don't know if begrudgingly, I'm assuming begrudgingly, because again, this is like months before the Olympics. Yeah. They create a pair. Like you said, I thought it was very cool. 2 gold medals. So, wow. 2 shoes, 2 gold medals. So that was one for each foot. Thought that was very cool. Mm-hmm. And yes, was I think at the time the fastest man in the world.
Oh, okay.
So, and then obviously just becomes extremely iconic because you look at the other athletes and the shoes they're wearing, and obviously they are not chromed out, shiny gold shoes.
I don't know what they were wearing. I know what they weren't wearing. Gold shoes, right?
Gold shoes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really like this. I like the alternating color in the swooshes for the inside of the foot, the outside of the foot. I think that's very cool.
Yeah.
It still gives the like Team USA vibe. Again, I like how they did it with the, when you are running, so you'll see essentially both shoes are both colors each time. So very, very cool. And that was so little drama behind the shoe, and then obviously that leads to, Michael Johnson saying like he made that statement, to Nike, and then they say, okay, I guess we'll make you some gold shoes. And then he now is like sitting there being like, oh crap, I have to win because
you better deliver. Yep.
I just told them you can't give me silver shoes because I'm winning the gold, and that's all I'm going to do. So, he recalls feeling a lot of pressure that he, already coming from competing in the Olympics, but then putting on himself of like, man, I gotta deliver. Kind of like how silly am I going to look competing in completely gold, very flashy shoes, and then losing, or well, I guess depending on, I'm sure his version, even if it's not gold, it's a loss. So
it is
very cool. Very cool story.
You can't wear gold shoes and not come in first, right? Like if you're going to be that guy, you got to be that guy. Yeah.
Full through and through. Yeah. So ranking these kind of tough.
Yeah.
Because it's a track shoe. So like
this gets out of the realm of like, would I want to wear it? Cause it's like, if this gets beyond performance basketball, which is like, well, sure, like it's made for like court use, but like I could still wear it day to day. A track shoe is like, I could not really wear this day to day. So I'm not so much factoring that in on this one.
And, as running track in only freshman and sophomore year of high school, the most uncomfortable things you can put on your feet are track shoes.
Yeah.
However, pretty cool. I like the like navy and gold. I think it's a great look. I love the story behind it. 2 gold medals is pretty sick.
Yeah.
So it's got like some Olympic like history behind it, but I'm like, they're just 2 gold track shoes. It feels disrespectful to put it in D because of just the style in the shoe.
Yeah.
But I'm almost kind of like, is this a D tier just because it's a gold track shoe? Or do we just go C tier because I'm like, no one should wear these shoes unless they're running track, but very cool that you had like the ultimate confidence in yourself as an athlete to be like, you need to redo this shoe in crunch time and then win 2 gold medals.
We are far apart on this one.
Whoa. Where are you? Are you down?
No, I'm up.
What?
Because I just feel like these are like, that's such an incredible story. And especially for like, today, like an all gold shoe doesn't seem like that special, But like, I gotta imagine that in 96, like
96.
If this was making headlines in 96 and we're still talking about it 30 years later-ish, then like, it seems like this was probably like a pretty impactful moment in that space. But I do hear you, and I agree, and I acknowledge that 10 minutes ago I was like, but we're not putting the air tempo that high because I don't want to wear it. I know I don't want to wear this.
But this is Olympics.
Well,
this is an Olympic shoe.
Yeah.
So,
and the story of going from silver to gold, that's a great story. The confidence, and then to pull it off. I don't know if I could swing you all the way up to A tier. Could I swing you to B tier?
You're going to have to move the jams.
Okay. I could. Okay. It's tough because I like the jam silhouette more than the problem solver, the PS8 silhouette. But in a world of compromises, I do think that this is a overall cooler shoe. I think it's cooler than both the jams and the PS8s. But if to get it to
I agree.
But not all the way to A tier. We normally don't do the within a tier, the ranking, but is this one of those times we do within a tier, we do the ranking?
We could do. I mean, here, you know what? I mean, here's the thing. I could see it at an A tier.
Yeah.
Just slowly based on the story of literally being like,
for me, that's what it is, right? Like, I think the story of it's so cool that like, this one's like of almost everything on here, not to give any spoilers, but like I think has the coolest story behind it.
I would agree.
Cheryl Swoopes a lot of big first, so it's kind of hard to compare, but like this story is so cool. Yeah.
I do agree the story is very cool. So I'm good with A tier.
A tier it is. All right.
Yeah.
Well, moving from the A tier to our next shoe here.
I know people are going to be so upset with this.
With the next one we've got, or where we just put the gold shoe.
I think the Uptempos are really
the Uptempos are gonna ruffle feathers.
Controversial.
Yeah, that's gonna ruffle feathers for sure.
Right there, 100%. Yeah.
Oh no, let us know. Oh, I'll be fine. Coming up next. Coming up next, the Air Jordan 6 Olympic. My notes say released in 2000.
Yep.
Period.
So that's really about it. I mean, I'm like, Jordan didn't even wear these.
Yeah.
So that is interesting. Yes, they came out in 2000, so 8 years after the Dream Team. So I'm like, way to really take your time on that one. And I also have that they retroed in 2012. So,
and I think
they waited 12 years to bring these back.
I think like the Uptempos this year, they're coming back. So if you love this shoe, great news for you. You don't have to take it out on us. Just go buy a pair from Nike. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're a big fan of sixes, which
this has got to be a record for quickest from the introduction to, all right, where does it go on the tier list? You know, like of almost any episode we've done. There's just really not a story
to it.
So that being said,
I could
go ahead.
I could see a C or a D.
That's what I was gonna say. Like visually, I like it more than the Uptempo or the Shox BB4, but the fact that like yes, it's an Olympic shoe, but only because we needed a round number of 10 to get here. You know, like
I mean,
kind of really is what it is. There's not much. So yeah, I could see either. I don't know. Like it is C or D tier. Like I like it more visually than either, but it's got no story that either has. So
I would almost just say a C tier because it's a 6.
Yeah,
and it is an iconic silhouette. I mean, it does look good.
I'll give you that.
It's just as for an Olympic story, I'm like, there's really
where is it?
Nothing to it. So I like C tier for this one.
We'll change the pace a little bit. I think you've got some stories to tell us about this one. The Nike Hyperdunk United We Rise, worn by Kobe Bryant, 2008, the Redeem Team.
Yes. Okay. So I'm almost certain with this, I think when they first came out, they weren't called United We Rise. And it wasn't until they got retroed
Oh, okay. Interesting.
That they got that name. I'm
yeah.
almost certain. I think I remember hearing that or reading that whenever I was recording this. Also, that flag is backwards.
I know. And I clocked that when I pulled the images here, and that's not my image. I did not make it. I'm normally not one for us to be like, we borrowed all these images from other people, but let me go ahead and be clear. We borrowed all these images from other people. Yeah.
I was like,
if you don't like it,
now,
watch this episode in the mirror.
The star is supposed to be on the left side. They're supposed to be on the left side. So I'm almost certain. So I thought that was a pretty interesting fact. Also, this shoe was kind of like a vengeful creation.
Ooh.
So in 2004, Team USA basketball took the bronze.
Right.
So Nike said, they pulled a Jordan one. They said, and we took that personal.
Yep.
So they started cooking this up. Okay, Ryan, when you look at the shoe, what, not mode of transportation, what avenue of transportation do you think of?
Can I get a hint? Can I get a hint?
Cars drive on it. So things that cars drive on, what do you see when you look at this shoe?
It's hard not to say a road. Should I say a bridge?
Bridge would be correct.
Okay.
And that is exactly what was thought of when they were making the shoe.
Let me wait for
bridges. Wait, do you see it? Do you see along the same? Like, do you see that fly wire?
Yeah. Okay. I get it now that you say it. Sure.
Yes. So this shoe was a collaboration of two big hitters at Nike. Jay Mestra, who was real big into running.
Okay.
He was the one who saw bridges, who thought bridges. He thought of the strength behind bridges. People, they're, driving on bridges, walking, running, all of those things. Mestra was wanting to take weight out of running shoes. We also had Eric, I think it's Abar.
Okay.
Who was big name in basketball, who also had the same mindset. I need to take the weight out of basketball shoes. So they teamed up and created the Hyperdunk. And they came up with the fly wire. So this is the first time that we are seeing fly wire and this like synthetic mold that is the shoe. And that's the only materials that are in here. And then I think there's like the zoom foam or things like that within it. Okay. So because of the 2004 bronze gold medaling, we got this shoe that came, and then because of that, of the two minds wanting to make things as light as possible, we got fly wire from it. If you're a performance basketball fan, you know that played a big part in Kobe's coming forward and LeBron's coming forward. Maybe not Kobe's, I think Kobe's, but KD's as well.
Okay.
So big moment in performance basketball shoes, changed the weight and the structure and everything like that. And definitely Kobe made this shoe very, very iconic, which helps seal the gold medal against Spain. He has that very iconic shot of him just standing there, hushing the crowd, I think, while he's going to take his foul line shot. So I thought it was super, super cool.
Great history.
A lot of history within this shoe.
Yeah.
Like I said, it and I think the coolest thing is that the creation of Flywire behind this, which we saw for multiple performance basketball shoes and different Nike athletes going forward after this. So,
if we hadn't taken the bronze in 2004, would we be here? Would we have had so much to prove? The redeemed team.
Yeah, exactly. It is never a loss. Okay, unless you go and you take it back and you learn from it, you grow from it, and then you get the gold. So with this shoe, with kind of the nostalgic looking back to it, especially I remember very much watching like that Olympic game, that Spain game. I personally feel that this is an S tier, but I may be
Oh,
clouded. I
okay.
may be clouded.
Okay. I think
So
you gave a really great history lesson there. Real quick, round of applause. Claps in the chat. Claps in the chat. That was incredible.
Thank you.
S tier. I don't know if I want to say it feels a little high, because I think had I been in that moment, maybe like you were in that moment, I just don't necessarily have the nostalgic connection to this shoe to where I naturally want to put it in S tier. I think A tier feels perfectly reasonable. But S tier may not be out of the question. So I don't know where that leaves us here. The invention of Flywire, that's nothing to be shy about there.
That is pretty big. Pretty big.
I'll put it up there. Sorry for the backwards flag. I'll put it up there. I didn't make the image, but I'll put it up there.
Like I said, I could go S or A tier. I could see it being an A tier. I think it also is just a really, really good looking shoe.
It's one of those ones. It is one that today I would not want to wear it, but still I think it holds up as looking cool, right? Of like, it just looks like such a cool, almost like this looks like a futuristic boot almost, like the sleekness, the shape of it. Like it's kind of almost got like, if it were tall enough to be a Nike mag, it would be like, it's just something about that shape to it. I don't know. It gives me that same feeling. So the more I look at it, the more I like it. I'm happy to put it in S tier for now.
Okay. I like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for, bring it on home. Our 10th and final shoe that we've got for the list here is the Air Jordan 7 Olympic 1992 Dream Team Michael Jordan. I don't know what more needs to be said, but if you have any facts, I'd be happy to hear them.
With this one, the only thing that I really have is that his iconic 23 was replaced with 9, because that is the jersey number that he wore in the Olympics. And that's all I got about this shoe.
And this is going to be another one of those speed run moments of like probably from introduction to putting it on the list short, but for the opposite reason of there's nothing to talk about to the reason of what more needs to be said.
That's a good point.
Personally.
That's a good point. Okay.
I know I've been opening it up to you. I'll go ahead and say it. S tier, I think.
S tier.
The Jordan, it just like when I think Olympic shoes, the Jordan 7 Olympic is the one. And I think
you're not wrong.
I think it's Michael Jordan Dream Team. It's just like the culmination of such a big moment in Olympics history, maybe specifically American Olympics history, but
yeah,
to me, like, I don't like to throw around the word iconic a lot, but when I think like Olympic shoe, this is the one.
You're not wrong.
That'd be my reason.
I do like the 7s, and I think I like this one because it does also remind me of the Hair 7s, and for some reason I really love the Hair 7.
Yeah.
But you're not wrong. When you think of men's USA Olympic basketball, you are like, this is the first shoe that comes to mind. So, I mean, I really got no argument against it.
Listen, you can put the Air More Uptempos in C tier, or you can keep the Air Jordan 7s out of S tier. But you do both, pitchforks. They come for our head on a stick. This one's got to go up in S tier. All right.
I think that's a good spot.
So there we have it, at least as of now, our official tier list ranking of Olympic sneakers. Nothing in E, nothing in F. So a solid, not a bad list of 10 shoes to begin with here.
Yeah, not bad at all. And you know what? Now that I see this list like really put together, I like the Jams and B.
That's what I think. Like, good shoe. I like it. It's too early to have like a real history and a story to it, but like, so you kind of got to just judge it off design alone, and off design alone. I like it more than everything we put it above.
Well, I kind of like that, like B tier almost became, I guess, like C tier.
It kind of did.
In the sense of like, I think of C tier more of like a baseline.
Right.
Like this is, and I think B tier is a really good baseline of like, they're good looking shoes.
Yeah.
But we don't know much more Olympic history outside of that. And I do think I would rather these shoes than everything below it. I would probably rather, obviously, than some of the ones above it that are in B tier, but the Olympic story makes S and A tier better than B tier. So I think it's a really good list. I think people are going to be upset about the up-tempo being in C.
That's fine.
But I think when you see the list together, like as a whole, and again, like the up tempos being like, again, we're thinking like specifically the Olympics.
Yeah.
So I think our hot take will be the up tempos, but I like this list.
I can understand specifically the corner of the internet not getting solely upset that the up tempos are in C tier, but that they're behind the PS8 and the Nike Jam, right? Like, I could see that being the thorn in a lot of people's side. And for that, I have to say, thank you everyone for checking out another episode of Shoe Podcast. That's going to do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. That's our time, boys and girls.
Boom.
You can catch us online everywhere except for where we're not, at Shoe Podcast, or on our website, shoepodcast.com. If you want to continue the conversation with us, you can do so through our Discord, linked in the episode description down below. Last thing, if you made it this far in the episode, thank you once again so much for listening. We're going to assume you liked it. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the follow button. Take a second of your time. It's free. It costs you nothing. We're not going to bother you that much. Aside from with good content, sue us. Sorry, not, but, No. Right to your inbox. Right to your inbox.
Sue us.
Yeah, sue us, but don't, please. Nike. You got a little bit of a track record right now, so if you could just keep us out of the crosshairs for like a little while, that'd be cool.
God, let us at least stack up some dough before you hit us with a 60 mil.
Lastly, if you made it this far in the episode, thank you so much for sticking around. Leave a comment down below. Let us know, how do you feel about our tier list? What is one shoe that you think should be moved somewhere else in there? Both on YouTube and Spotify. You should be able to leave comments now. So leave those comments. I want to go back and forth with some people in the comments. I want to talk to the people a little bit there. Tanner, what do you want to leave the people with before we go?
Drink more water.
Right there.
Just drink more water. That's really I got,
Easy enough.
Hey, but you know what? It's don't drink less soda. Don't drink less of this. It's hard to do less. It's easier to do more. You know what I mean? Hey, you had a soda, have a little glass of water. You don't even need a full glass. You know what I mean? A little 6 ounces.
Offset it. Yeah.
Hit you with like 3 big sips, healthy sips of water.
A gulp?
I mean,
a gulp
big
even?
Gulps.
Yeah.
Get gulpy. And then, sure, get gulpy.
That's our new catchphrase. I'm so sad the summer's almost over, but get gulpy is the mood of the summer right now. You heard it here first.
Hey, summer just kicking off. Olympics just starting. Summer just starting.
There you go.
If you live in the South, you still got like 3 more months. So
somewhere nowhere close to ending right now. Yeah.
Yeah. We're getting pressure cooked out here.
Don't get me started. Yeah. One last time, thank you so much for checking out another episode of Shoe Podcast. We should be back next week. Calendar looks like correct, to talk about the shoes releasing in August. So if you want to know what's coming out next month that you need to be paying attention to, come right back here on Friday of next week. I am your co-host, Ryan Landry.
I'm your co-host, Tanner Young.
See y'all next time.